What is going on, everyone? This is part 2 of my Madden 25 King of the Hill series. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to go watch my part 1 video right here on the screen. So, this is the second round of our King of the Hill series, and in case you're watching this for the first time, basically, I put every team up against each other. The best teams are playing the worst teams, and that's what they did in the first round. And the second round, these are the matchups that have, been determined since the first round has already been played. That was the part 1 video. And this is the part 2 video. This is our first round. Panthers won and the 49ers won. And this is the best team that's still in this and the worst team that's still in this. And the worst team is still in this is actually going to come up with a victory, win this one 31-17. So the Panthers will be advancing to round 3. Our next game is going to be between the Chargers and the Ravens. And these teams actually did play against each other last season. Ravens won that one 20-10 in 2023. And it looks like the Ravens are going to win this one too, as they're up 28-7, 35-7. They're just dominating this game. The Chargers stand no match in this one, as the Ravens win this one 38-14. So the Ravens will advance to round 3. And our next matchup is going to be between the Jets and the Lions. And these teams, the Jets had a disappointing season last season, hence why they're so low on the rankings, playing against one of the best teams in the Lions. They had a lot of injuries last season, notably to quarterback Aaron Rodgers, so hopefully they can stay healthy this year. Lions had a really good season, made it all the way to the NFC Championship, but they will go no further in this challenge as the Jets upset them 27-26. As the Lions will stay home and the Jets will advance to round 3. So a bit of a shocker there, considering how these teams ended their last seasons. And let's see, our next matchup's between the Seahawks and the Texans. And both of these teams actually had pretty similar records. Texans went 10-7 and made the playoffs, won a playoff game. And the Seahawks just barely missed the playoffs with a 9-8 record. As right now, it's a bit of a close game. Seahawks able to tie it up. It's actually in overtime. Seahawks score a touchdown. Texans also score a touchdown. But the Seahawks are able to get a victory here and win this one 30-27 to upset the Texans and move on to round 3. And our next matchup's between the Bengals and the Bucks, and these teams actually had exact records. They both went 9-8. The difference is the Bengals went last in their division, and the Bucks won their division. And, that just shows how tough some divisions are compared to others. I mean, the AFC North's a hell of a lot tougher than the NFC South, as it looks like the Bengals are going to win this one 34-27. The Bucks were kind of rallying, but Bengals are able to make a comeback, or are able to prevent the comeback and advance to round 3. As our next matchup's going to be between the Rams and the Packers, two teams that did play each other last season. Packers won that one 20-3. We'll see if they can win this one as well. And both these teams had pretty successful seasons. They both made the playoffs as the 6 and 7 seeds in the NFC. And, they both definitely overachieved, because I definitely didn't expect either team to make the playoffs. And I digress, as the Packers win this one 21-17, as they will advance to round 3, and the Rams will be eliminated. As they did put up a fight, though, so that's good that they at least went out, trying. Alright, our next matchup's between the Steelers and the Cowboys, two teams that made the playoffs, but they did not win any playoff games. They both were one and done in the wild card. And we'll see what the Steelers can do, because they have a way less talented roster than the Cowboys, just if you look at both teams. As it looks like it's a tie game, and the Steelers score a touchdown in overtime, but the Cowboys do as well. But eventually, the Steelers are able to hit a game-winning field goal in overtime to win this game 32-29. This is a big shocker. I definitely did not expect the Steelers to make it to round 3, but here they are. And, yeah, that's That's surprising. Alright, our next matchup's between the Dolphins and Eagles. Eagles played the Dolphins in real life, winning 31-17 last season. And the Eagles have Saquon Barkley now, and the Dolphins, they actually lost some pieces on defense. They lost Christian Wilkins on their defense. They got worse. Eagles got better. And this is definitely not a surprising result here, as the Eagles won this one 35-17 and advanced themselves to round 3. And now we are at round 3, and our first matchup's going to be between the Panthers and Ravens. And yeah, I already went over the Panthers and Ravens already, because they both obviously played in round 2 and won. But yeah, I'm very shocked that the Panthers are able to make it all the way to round 3, so we'll see if they can continue their Linsanity run. Ravens up by 20, they win by 17, as they put an end to Carolina's Cinderella run. And yeah, that's no shocker there. It had to come to an end at some point. Panthers aren't very good, but they put up a fight, so props to them. Alright, our next matchup's between the Jets and Packers, and you could call this the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, the Brett Favre Bowl, whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's these two teams, and the Jets are currently up 14-0. Now they're up 21-0, as they're being a very surprising team here. They're able to advance to round 4 with the Ravens as well. And Packers are eliminated. They didn't put up much of a fight in this game, and I guess the veteran beat the inexperienced star. Alright, our next game's between the Seahawks and Eagles. Eagles lost to the Seahawks in real life 20-17 last season. We'll see what happens here. I definitely expect the Eagles to win this one, considering how stacked their roster is. And they're up by 11. Seahawks make it a 3-point game, and they almost are able to force overtime, but the Eagles are able to hang on for a tight 27-24 victory, and that will move the Eagles into round 4. Alright, our next matchup's actually between two divisional opponents, the Bengals and Steelers. Obviously, these two teams played each other twice, Steelers winning both of those games. Those will be on the screen. And, I mean, this should be a good game. I mean, they're divisional opponents, and they always play each other tough, especially considering they're in the AFC North. Steelers are up by 3, and they will win by 3 as they're able to hang on. I still have no idea how the Steelers, of all teams, are able to make it this far in the challenge, but they're defying the odds, and they're moving on to the next round. Alright, our next matchup is between the Jets and the Ravens. Jets definitely a surprise here. Ravens definitely not a surprise, considering they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and they've had a very easy path to this point. And the Jets putting up a fight. We'll see if they can pull one out of here. Jets were up by 5. Now they're down by 3, and they lose by 3 as this game ends with the Ravens winning 22-19. And this will end the Jets' Cinderella run, as I definitely was shocked to even see him here in the first place. Alright, our next matchup is going to be between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Philadelphia Eagles, the Pennsylvania Bowl. And right now the Eagles are up by 4, and the Steelers up by 3. And I mean, I think the Eagles are going to win, but I mean, the Steelers have been winning in incredible fashion for them. And they do it again as they win this one 27-14. As they just keep winning games. I mean, you can't argue with results, and they're getting them. And Steelers will advance to the next round. And looks like our finals, this is our finals, as those last two games were our semifinals, as this will be the Ravens and Steelers, obviously divisional opponents. They played each other twice, and the score was actually 17-10 both times. As right now, it's kind of like David versus Goliath, but at the same time, they are divisional opponents, so I would not be surprised if the Steelers are able to pull this one out. But I definitely expect the Ravens to, because they're a way better team than the Steelers on paper. But when these two teams specifically play each other, you never really know. So we'll see what Madden predicts for this one. Steelers are up by 3. Ravens tie the game up. Now they're up by 7. And actually, the Steelers tied up, make it go to overtime, but it looks like the Ravens scored a touchdown in overtime, and I guess the Steelers threw a pick six or something because they scored like right away. And the Ravens will win this challenge. So congratulations to them. They are the winners of this King of the Hill challenge. And I can't say I'm too surprised considering that the Ravens are a very good team. And they had, I'm not going to lie, a very easy schedule. They didn't have to play the Chiefs or the 49ers because the Panthers, of all teams, knocked them out. I mean, their first matchup was obviously easy if you know how I was setting this up because they played the third worst team since they were the third best team. Like, the only real challenges they had were the Steelers and maybe the Jets, but after that, other than that, you know. But the win's a win. I'm not going to discredit them that much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.